Now that you have seen an IFSP from the beginning, we are going to roll over an IFSP. By selecting the double arrows, I can roll over an IFSP. This arrow is to provide a progress report. This one is to upload any files. If you would like to view the IFSP that you have already published, you can click the I. Or if you would like to print, you can select the print button. For this purpose, we are going to roll over an IFSP and do a review and a transition plan. Again, we are going to use the same date. And once again, a review has to be done with a transition plan, or an annual or an initial. A transition plan cannot stand alone. And I continue to be the coordinator. I'm going to use the child's 3rd birthday as the end date for this particular time. And then I'm going to select next step. Now you can see that the IFSP has been rolled over, and I am able to go in and edit the process. Once you start an open IFSP, you can no longer roll over a new one until this one is finished. So I'm going to select the pencil. Again, I can go in here and go through the whole process. I have to update the meeting date, the service coordinator phone number, and the providing agency. And then I select next step. I then select where this meeting is going to be held. This is the same as within the initial. And the meeting location. Once again, do not forget that you need to go down and complete the justification whether or not the service was done in a timely manner. So for Daisy, the parents did consent and the plan was done timely and the child was available. Again, if not, and this plan was late, you need to explain those exceptional family circumstances below. Then I can go up here and add the participants. And again, I have to save after I've added the participant. So again, just make sure you put the title and the relationship to the child. If this information is not completed on this page, it will not let you publish it at the end. And again, select yes or no, whether or not they are present. Again, you can add extra participants down below. And the contact method. How was the person contacted for this plan? These are all the same steps that you do to create every single IFSP. And then I select next step. With a review and a transition, you will not have to go back in and update scores. The scores are those that have already been established from 6 months ago. So the developmental status is not a page that you will have to complete. Since I do not have to complete the developmental status, I can select Wizard Quick Navigation and easily move to the correct sites that I have to go to. For a review, I have to go to the outcome details. I can then update on any progress that the child has made in reaching these outcomes. So under the present status, I can add review and the date. And then what has that child done to increase those skills to move toward that desirable outcome? So for Daisy, what was she able to increase and what has she done since this plan was initially created? And if I need to, I can go in and adjust my procedures and strategies. Maybe now Daisy is better able to use her consonant vowel combinations. So instead of consonant vowel combinations, we may say that Daisy will imitate words now. And then I will select Save. Once I have updated the present status for Daisy and made any adjustments to the outcomes that I need, I select Next Step. Okay, so once you have made any changes to the outcome page, you can push Save. Then I will go back to Wizard Quick Navigation and select the Transition Plan page. Do you want to add a transition plan? I will select Yes. The date of the transition plan, again, remembering that a transition plan must be completed between 27 months and 32 months of age. So the transition plan is being held today along with the conference. A transition conference means that a member from the school district is present to talk about steps that involve the transition process. As part of a child who is in special ed, this is a requirement by law. So the reason for the transition, whether it's that the child is turning 3, the child no longer meets the eligibility criteria for early on. If a child now is showing age-appropriate skills, this one would be checked. The family no longer wants services. Or if a child is moving into an ECSC program, you select Other and put that information down here. In many cases, it will be that the child is turning 3. Just a reminder that once a child is moved to an ECSC program and an IEP is completed, that child is no longer open within early on. And the child's present status of development. So is this child eligible for special education? Yes. And what is her present status? So I would write down that information here. She was evaluated using the Battelle by the MET team on 9/1 of 14. And then I would put the areas of need. Communication was one area. So I would put how Daisy did in communication. Cognition was another area. Then I come down here where it says steps and services to support the transition of the child. The top 2 must be addressed. So I need to discuss with parents regarding the future placement of their child and procedures to prepare them for that. I may also discuss a potential visit to the classroom or any other community resources. So what are those strategies? Again, this is going to be individualized based on the specific child and family need. This may be that an IEP will be held, a child will be reevaluated, a trip to a program may be done. It could be that you may talk about other community options such as lap sit at the libraries, Great Start play groups, early Head Start, and any other information that needs to be addressed. So for Daisy, her scores will be updated and an IEP will be held before her 3rd birthday. The transition process will be discussed with her family, and she will be able to attend the ECSC program for 1 hour a week until her 3rd birthday, when she permanently transitions into the ECSE program. So again, this may be different based on every child. The transition plan is a formal way to discuss the process and procedures that are going to be held before that child turns 3. Then, where will she transition? So for Daisy, she will transition to the ECSE program. Then here we have, what are the services that will end on her transition date? Any program or service options from the child's 3rd birthday to the end of the school year. Is there anything that needs to be done, such as summer services, such as any additional support before the end of the school year? And then the services that are going to continue after early on ends. Again, this may not always be ECSE. It could be speech therapy, it could be a Head Start classroom, it could be private preschool, it could be Great Start playgroups, it could be home visiting, whatever that child's specific need is and what those services are that they will receive, that is what will be in this area. Then down here we have the disposition of records. All records on children and early on must be kept for a minimum of 7 years. This box must always be checked. Then we select Save. By selecting Wizard Quick Navigation, it will take you back to the parental consent page. On the parental consent page, we need to make sure that everything is updated. For this one, the family will receive information on the transition plans, and if they are immediately transitioning into the ECSE program, that information needs to be provided here, that Daisy will transition into the ECSE program and early on services will end. Daisy may not transition to the ECSE program for a few months. If that is the case, you will still leave the speech and specialized instruction underneath this and may add an additional note that you will transition into the ECSE program and when that will be. Again, here we have the parental consent and the date that that consent was given. So we select Next Step. So once you have selected Save, it will take you to the Publish page. If something has not been filled out and an error shows, it will show right here in this box. So then we will preview the IFSP. So once you've selected Preview IFSP, this is what you will see. Again, all the demographics is on the first page. We have the participants on the second page. Next section is the developmental status. You'll have the interview page of your outcomes, your services, and here's your transition page. So again, up at the top, the child will transition to where will that child be going to the ECSE program and the transition conference date. And what is the reason for the transition? Again, we selected the 3rd birthday. Is a child eligible or ineligible for special ed? And any updated evaluations that were recorded. Then down here we have the services that will end on the child's transition date. So any of those services, speech therapy, specialized instruction, those services, here are those services that will be ending. And then we've reviewed those program options for after the child leaves early on, and that is the ECSE program. Again, here we discussed any steps or services for a part of that transition process. And down here were our strategies that we had provided. Again, that is kept for a total of 7 years. And after that comes your family rights, the special ed commitment, and your parental consent. Again, just getting that parental consent, remembering that this plan is a review and a transition, so the family is signing in regards to that review and transition. So once you have previewed the IFSP, you can select the Publish button, click Publish, select the method. This should be provided at the meeting with the parents. And then I can click Publish. So once you have published, you will see your published date and your plan within that dashboard. This ends the transition piece for the IFSP.